Ohio Valley Conference selection player. He later would leave even a greater mark as the program's coach and eventually as the university director of athletics. As the Blue Raider coach for 11 seasons, Stanford guided Middle Tennessee to a 402 to 222 win-loss record. That's outstanding in these days in competitive athletics. His team won 6 OVC regular season championships, 4 OVC tournament championships, and made 4 NCAA appearances. And Stanford was crowned OVC Coach of the Year 5 times, ladies and gentlemen. That deserves a round of applause. It's a recognition by his colleagues of his outstanding work. As athletic director, he improved our baseball facilities and scholarships, upgraded the golf program, and was a major advocate for the formation of the women's softball program and a field for our women's softball. So he has been a trailblazer in that area. And we're so glad today that he will always be memorialized with the erection of this statue on our campus. Reeve Smith, also an alumnus and was a former player and a longtime supporter of our baseball program. He was instrumental in lighting the field and building the stadium that bears his name. Reeve Smith Jr. Field was named in October of 1982 and officially dedicated April 12, 1983. A $5 million renovation led by his son Steve was finished in 2009. And in fact, just today, I was hosting a delegation, a university president from China, from Hangzhou, China, right next to Shanghai, and we drove past the baseball stadium, and he noticed it and said, what a magnificent facility that we have on our campus. This renovation made our ballpark into one of the finest fields in the nation, and there's no exaggeration of that. Having traveled around the country to see other athletic facilities, I think our coaches and our athletes will tell you that it is one of the finest facilities. Further improvements, some as recent as this year, illustrate the importance of our university, the importance that our university placed on the baseball program and this facility. It is a priority for our university that allows us to attract some of the best student athletes around the country. So I'm particularly pleased that the Reeve Smith statue will stand watch over the field that bears his name. He stands side by side with Coach Stanford to welcome fans and encourage their continued support of Coach Jim McGuire and his coaching staff and our athletes, and also the support that we get from our athletic director, Chris Massaro. This is a wonderful achievement for this university and for this community. So again, Steve, Denise, to all those who've been involved in this project, I want to thank you. Thank you for making this university what it is today and allowing me as president to be able to showcase beyond just the rhetoric, but the evidence that this institution is a first-class institution that can compete with any university in the country. And it's facilities like this that allows us to do this. Your generosity has helped us to enrich the heritage and tradition and excellence of our university by providing such a lasting tribute to these men. Thank you so much, and go Blue, let's destroy Vandy in a couple of minutes.
Chris Massaro has been a steady hand at the wheel of one of the most dynamic collegiate athletic programs in America. During his tenure, Middle Tennessee has enjoyed unparalleled success from a competitive nature and in the classroom. During that time, he's also helped guide the move from the Sun Belt Conference into Conference USA and has represented the university in conference with his service on regional and national committees. So at this time, please welcome the Director of Athletics at Middle Tennessee, Chris Massaro.
Thank you, Chip. And I just want to say that you don't build statues just for records and that kind of thing. You build it for impact. And these two gentlemen had impact on countless young men and young women across not only our MTSU community, but across Middle Tennessee. And so while both men are deceased, their impact still really lives on. It lives on in all of us in the athletic department, but it particularly lives on in their families. And so let me just kind of introduce them a little bit. And so Nancy Stanford, her daughter Maureen, son-in-law Matt, who's not able to be here. Oh, where's Matt? There you are. Okay, over there. And the pride and joy of Coach Stanford, John Owen and Katie, his grandchildren. So if you guys could just stand up real quickly. And then also a special guest that came all the way from Louisiana. If you've met any of John's brothers, they're just like him, just warm, and will offer you the shirt off their back. So, Owen, we appreciate you driving in. Stand up if you could. Owen Stanford came in. You can. It's been mentioned, but Steve and Denise's impact would be really, I mean, what they've done for us in our program, we would go into the third inning if I listed it all. So I will not do that. But Steve and Denise, Stephen and Allison, and Matt, if you guys could stand, please. And also Reese and Emily Smith, their sons Reese is there, and Lauren and Lindsay, if you guys could stand, that'd be great. Just when I look at those families, it's not hard to see why we're building statues for these two gentlemen, because it is unbelievable what they've done. Projects like these just don't happen, and there's some people I really need to thank, so if you just bear with me on this, because this is such a fantastic project. And our primary investors that in this, and I won't ask Steve to stand again, but Steve and Denise, Reese and Emily Smith, and then Tommy and Scott Smith. No relation to the other Smiths, but they've been, those families have been intertwined for decades. So Tommy and Scott, if you could stand as well, that would be great. Dr. McPhee mentioned these are the first statues we have on our campus, so it was a little interesting process to get it done. And from the very beginning, we had his support, John Cothran's support, Executive Vice President, and Joe Bales, because this has never been done before, so we were truly breaking new ground. So from the bottom of my heart, I would really like to thank our university leadership, so making sure that this thing would happen. And thank you, Dr. McPhee, for that. My staff, Marco Bourne was the first contact to kind of line it up, and then Courtney Gaucher kind of carried it through. There's Courtney over there. Marco's at La Tech, so give Courtney a big hand as well. Campus Planning and Facility Services, Patty Miller and Jay Wallace. I think they might be here. Thank you to them. Our artist, Stanley Proctor, and his daughter, Peggy Woodham. When you see the statues, I hope you'll appreciate the craftsmanship and the pride that he took in making these statues come to life. You can never do a baseball ceremony without thanking Coach Pete for all of his contributions. Where's Coach Pete? Thank you, Coach. And Jim McGuire, who was just here. I mean, it says a lot that he's out here in uniform at the ceremony, so thanks to Jim. And then most of all, thank you to the former players that came. That's what the Blue Raiders are about. Those are the people that helped that were impacted by Coach Stanford and Reese Smith. So all you former players, thank you so much, and we appreciate you for coming by. And I started talking about impact. I started my speech about impact, and I don't think it's ironic that these two men, they're really the bedrock of our athletic department. Everything we do kind of relates back to their beginning. And so I appreciate that. And when you look, they're on a massive base of concrete that's topped with granite, and it's a sturdy base. And it's very metaphoric to what we're trying to do, because these gentlemen have provided the base for what we're trying to do athletically, both in the classroom and on the field. So I would appreciate a big round of applause for Reese Smith and John Stanford for kind of what they've done. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you. And former players, we love you. Thanks for coming back.
Well, you don't have to look far